Alright, good morning. Flat Plate Fool here on another morning commute. Just want to talk to you guys a little bit. I have dropped little snippets here and there about wanting to build a drag car at some point in time. As you all know, I'm kind of bored with LS powered cars. They sort of annoy me when I hear them anymore. And it's not that I don't think they're a good engine, it's quite the opposite. It's that they're such a good engine and such a cheap engine that that's all anybody uses anymore. And in that same boat is the Fox chassis Mustang. So every time you hear, I mean, it's go to the racetrack now and it's a Mustang with a turbo LS stuffed in it in an automatic transmission, and that is just the cheap dirty way to get down the track at a 8-second quarter mile pretty easily. You may blow up the engine and then you build it, and you know, but it's a good way to get yourself into the sport, and I don't deny that. And at some level, I'm sure my hatred for that setup is the fact that I don't own one, and I'm not going eights for, you know, whatever minimal investment that's required to do it. So long story short is that I'd like to build a stick shift drag racing car. Right now, I'm pretty sure it would be a coyote based engine, just because I've fallen in love with the revving capability of this engine. And the higher you rev out a stick shift car, the less torque it makes, and the less torque it makes, the less chance there is of blowing the transmission apart. So basically that's kind of where I'm sitting. I'm open to engine suggestions, so by all means comment down below what you might, what you would suggest for an engine. The transmission would probably be a TR6060 based transmission with PPG gears in it, or a G-force transmission, something along those lines, just to get the strength and quick shifting capability out of it. And the chassis, I have no idea what I would put it in. Ideally, it would be a stock suspension car, so I could still stay in a lot of the street race categories. But on the other hand, my intention is to go, not right away, obviously, but I'd like to work my way down into the 7s at some point in time, with a regularly stock looking vehicle. So I think the cheapest way to go would be, like an SN95 car, but they're probably the next most prolific car at the drag strip, especially if you include the new Edge chassis in the SN95 grouping. I have the thought of the Thunderbird Turbo Coupe. For some reason, I like those things. I don't actually think they're pretty, but for whatever reason, they have a little bit of nostalgia for me. I had one of my dad's friends had one growing up, and feeling that turbo spool for the first time was an interesting experience. So it'll always kind of be burned in my head. The Lincoln Mark 8, but my biggest concern with that is I know there's a lot of stuff you can remove to get weight out of the car, but I don't know how much weight you can get out of the car, and how much of that is, built-in sound matting and stuff to where you'd have to take the entire car apart and have it sandblasted to get all that crap off of there, and then start putting it back together. That's a little too much effort, in my opinion, but especially the second generation body style looks really good to me. So that's kind of where I'm stuck. If you guys have any ideas on a chassis that would be, has a pretty good setup as far as rear suspension is concerned for drag racing, and you could fit a wide Coyote engine underneath the hood, and would be a good drag chassis. Part of me, you see S10s all the time. Part of me wonders if the Ranger chassis or something like that would be decent. But anyway, let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.